Welcome to the AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
Great to be here.
Today, we're unpacking a really fundamental topic, I think, for anyone seriously considering how organizations make decisions now, in the age of data and AI.
Absolutely. We're talking about the relationship between data-driven decision-making, or DDDM,
Right.
and decision intelligence, DI.
Exactly. And we've taken a deep dive into the decision intelligence DI versus data-driven decision-making DDM framework article from the AI Coach.
Yeah, it's a really insightful piece. Crucial, I'd say, for understanding how to move beyond just like having data to actually making smart use of it in the choices we make.
So our goal in this deep dive is pretty straightforward. Give you a clear handle on what DDM and DI actually are, how they differ in approach and scope,
Yeah, the key differences.
and maybe most importantly, how they fit together, how they can help businesses make, well, smarter and more scalable decisions.
And we're pulling the core insights, the real nuggets, straight from that AI Coach framework.
Okay, so let's dive in. Let's start with the basics. Data-driven decision-making. What's the essence of DDDM?
Okay, so DDDM. At its heart, it's really about using evidence. That means, numbers, quantitative data, but also qualitative stuff.
Right, not just spreadsheets.
Exactly. Using that evidence to guide specific choices. The main idea is to tackle a business problem, maybe seize an opportunity, by drawing insights directly from that data.
So it's about shifting away from gut feelings.
Precisely. Moving from intuition to what the data actually tells you for that particular decision.
Okay, so it's more rigorous, more evidence-based for individual choices. What's the typical process look like? Are there steps involved?
Yeah, typically DDDM follows a pretty structured path. You start by clearly defining the decision you need to make. What exactly are we trying to decide here?
Okay.
Then you gather the relevant data, internal stuff, external sources, whatever sheds light on the question. That data then needs, cleaning, preparation,
Right.
getting it ready for analysis.
The messy part.
Often the longest part. Then comes the analysis itself, finding patterns, trends, the actual insights.
Okay.
These findings then need to be presented clearly. Visualization is key here. Make it easy to grasp.
Right.
Based on those insights, the decision maker, usually a human, applies judgment and makes the call.
And then it doesn't stop there, presumably?
No, definitely not. You act on the decision, implement it, and then crucially, you monitor the results. Did it work? Did we get the outcome we expected?
Right, closing the loop. So what are the big wins, the main advantages of doing things this way?
The real power, I think, lies in reducing guesswork significantly.
Yeah.
By basing decisions on actual evidence, you move away from just subjective opinions or, this feels right.
Which increases accountability.
Exactly. And usually leads to more accurate decisions, at least for those specific issues you're tackling. You can actually measure the impact.
Okay, that's DDDM. Now let's pivot to decision intelligence.
Yeah.
The AI Coach article paints this as, something bigger, more encompassing. What defines DI?
Yeah, DI definitely takes a much wider view. It's really about designing and orchestrating the entire decision-making process, or maybe system, across an organization.
The whole system.
Yes, so not just individual choices, but how all decisions, whether they're made by humans or machines or some combination, how they all work together.
Interesting. So it draws on different fields.
It does. It blends ideas from decision theory, artificial intelligence, systems thinking, data science. Quite a mix.
And the goal is to build decision systems that have certain characteristics, right? The article mentioned 3 key ones.
That's right. Repeatable, explainable, and scalable.
Okay, break those down. Repeatable.
Repeatable means the system follows consistent logic. You get predictable outcomes for similar inputs.
Explainable.
You need to be able to understand how a decision was reached. No black boxes, especially when AI is involved. You need transparency.
Crucial for trust. And scalable.
Scalable means the decision-making process can handle increasing complexity, more volume, without falling over. It can grow with the business.
Repeatable, explainable, scalable. Got it. So what does a DI framework typically involve? What are the stages here?
Well, it's often more of a cycle, really, but it starts with defining and modeling the decision system itself.
Modeling the system.
Yeah, identifying the really high-impact decisions, mapping out the logic, who the actors are, human or machine. what the potential outcomes look like.
Yeah.
Then you ingest signals. You pull in data, trends, user behavior, market shifts, whatever context is needed for those decisions.
Contextualizing the data.
Exactly. Next, you select and apply the right decision methods. Could be simple business rules, could be complex machine learning models, maybe simulation. Depends on the problem.
Right, tool for the job.
Then comes a really key DI part, designing the decision flow and the orchestration.
Orchestration. Tell me more about that.
That's about automating the decision paths where it makes sense, defining clear escalation routes for when human judgment is needed, embedding that human-in-the-loop concept thoughtfully.
Okay, managing the flow.
Then you execute the decisions, take action, and importantly, log everything. Capture metadata about the decision, the inputs, the context.
For tracking.
For tracking and for learning. You then monitor the outcomes over time. How are these decisions performing against our goals?
Ah, the feedback loop.
Absolutely essential. This feedback drives the learning and optimization step. You improve the models, tweak the logic, refine the process based on what actually happened.
And finally.
Finally, you scale and govern. You standardize the decision logic that works well, roll it out more broadly, and put safeguards in place, ethical considerations, compliance, that sort of thing.
Wow. Okay, so DI really treats decision-making as an ongoing system, not just a one-off event.
That's the core idea. It's about engineering the decision process itself.
Which brings us back to the differences. The AI Coach article had a neat comparison table. Let's run through some key distinctions. Scope, for instance.
Right, scope is a big one. DDDM is usually tactical, focused on individual decisions, often within a specific team or function, like which marketing channel performed best last quarter.
Okay, and DI.
DI is strategic. It looks at the whole decision architecture across the organization. How do all our marketing spend decisions interact? How can we optimize the entire system dynamically?
Got it. Tactical versus strategic architecture. What about the core purpose?
DDDM's purpose is pretty clear. Use data to improve the quality of a specific decision right now. DI's purpose is broader. Design how decisions are made, executed, monitored, and improved over time across the system. It's about the process design.
And who actually makes the call? Who decides?
In traditional DDDM, it's primarily humans making the final decision informed by the data analysis.
Right.
With DI, it can be humans, it can be AI agents making automated decisions, or often it's a hybrid, a combination working together.
Which implies different levels of automation, I guess.
Exactly. DDDM might involve some automation in data processing or visualization, so low to moderate. DI often aims for moderate to high automation, using AI agents, using those orchestration platforms we mentioned to run the decision flows.
And the focus. Where does each place its emphasis?
DDDM is really focused on the evidence from the data and the analysis performed for that one choice.
Okay.
DI's focus includes that analysis, yes, but also the modeling of the system, the orchestration, the automation, and critically, that ongoing learning and improvement cycle.
Makes sense. And the tools they use reflect this difference.
They do. DDDM typically relies on BI tools, dashboards, standard analytics software, things analysts use to explore data for insights.
And DI tools.
DI leverages things like AI and machine learning platforms, simulation software to test what-if scenarios, intelligent agents that can act autonomously, and those decision orchestration platforms to manage the whole process.
Okay, that comparison really clarifies things. The article's example holds too. DDDM asks, which marketing channel performed best?
Right.
Simple, backward-looking.
Right.
DI asks.
DI asks something more complex and forward-looking, like, how should we dynamically optimize our ad spend across all channels in real time based on predicted performance, competitor moves, and inventory levels? See the difference?
Yeah, it's active, system-wide, and ongoing.
Yeah.
Very different. Now, a key point from the AI Coach framework is that DI doesn't just replace DDDM, right? It incorporates it. How does that work?
That's super important. DI isn't throwing DDDM out, it's building on it. You can think of DDDM practices as the analytical engine inside a larger DI system.
The engine providing the insights.
Exactly. DDDM provides the techniques to generate the evidence needed at specific decision points within the overall DI framework.
So DI provides the structure.
Yes. DI provides the operational structure. It defines the when, the how, the by whom decisions get made, triggered, orchestrated, executed, monitored, and it ensures those decisions are informed by the best data analysis, often using DDDM methods.
Okay, so they work together.
Great.
DDDM does the analysis first step. DI manages the overall process and links the steps.
You've got it. It's a unified system, ideally.
The article used a product development example, which might help make this concrete. A software company considering a new mobile betting feature. What's the DDDM role here?
Okay, so using DDDM, the team would look at past usage data, maybe run surveys, forecast potential demand for bedding, check competitor offerings.
Standard analysis.
Right. They'd gather feedback, estimate potential ROI, and then, based on all that evidence, recommend whether to launch the feature or not. It's focused on that specific launch decision.
Okay, makes sense. Now, how would DI approach the same scenario?
DI would zoom out. It would model the decision system around this feature. What triggers a decision about its promotion? About pricing tiers? About related features?
Thinking beyond just the launch.
Way beyond. AI agents might monitor competitor moves in real time or track regulatory changes that affect bedding. The system could simulate different rollout strategies, maybe a phased launch. It could then automatically decide on the best timing, maybe target specific user segments based on predicted uptake, execute the launch, and then continuously monitor the actual usage data.
And learn from it.
And learn, feeding that data back in to refine the feature, optimize the marketing, maybe even trigger decisions about future enhancements, all potentially automated within the DI system.
Wow. So DDDM informs the initial gonna go. DI manages the entire dynamic life cycle of the feature strategy. That really highlights the difference. And how AI is central to DI, which is a core theme in the AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
Precisely.
So given these differences, the article gives some guidance. When should you lean towards DDDM, and when is DI the better fit?
Generally, DDDM is your go-to for those single, well-defined decisions, especially when human judgment is paramount. The problem is mainly analytical, and there's a distinct decision moment.
Like choosing a vendor, maybe?
Could be, yeah. Or analyzing the results of a specific campaign. DI, on the other hand, is better suited for managing lots of interconnected decisions, especially at scale.
When things get complex.
Right. When automation or AI augmentation offers real benefits, when the problem is systemic, cross-functional, or involves continuous adjustments over time, think dynamic pricing, supply chain optimization, real-time personalization. Those ongoing decision loops are prime candidates for DI.
It sounds like DDDM isn't going away. It's still foundational.
Oh, absolutely vital. Making sound, evidence-based choices on individual issues, that's table stakes for any modern organization. You need DDDM capability.
And maybe not sufficient on its own anymore.
In many cases, especially in complex, fast-moving environments, relying only on DDDM for isolated decisions can be too slow, too disconnected. You miss the bigger picture, the interactions.
And that's where DI comes in, is the next evolution.
Exactly. DI is about building that intelligent, interconnected decision-making capability across the organization. And as the AI Coach by Anil Nathu framework stresses, embedding those strong DDM principles within a broader DI structure, that's how you create decision ecosystems that are truly adaptive, automated, and intelligent.
Okay, so let's really nail down the key takeaways, drawing straight from the AI Coach article. Takeaway 1. DDDM is about using data for better individual decisions.
Yep, evidence-based choices on specific issues.
Takeaway 2. DI is about designing and managing intelligent decision-making systems at scale.
Right, the architecture, the orchestration, the automation, the learning.
Takeaway 3. DI builds upon and incorporates DDDM. It doesn't replace it.
Crucial point. DDDM is the analytical engine within DI.
And takeaway 4. The trend is towards more automated, scalable, and integrated decision-making using DI principles.
Definitely. That's where the real leverage from AI comes in for organizational decision-making.
Understanding both these frameworks, DDDM and DI, is therefore pretty critical for navigating the future, especially in AI-powered organizations.
Couldn't agree more. It's about evolving how we think about and operationalize decision-making itself.
Okay, let's try one more simple analogy for our listener. If you're A/B testing 2 web page designs to see which gets more clicks, that's DDDM, right?
Yeah. Classic DDDM. Analyzing specific data for a specific choice.
But if you're building a system that personalizes the entire website experience for each visitor in real time, dynamically adjusting content, offers layout based on dozens of data points to maximize their lifetime value.
That's decision intelligence in action, managing a complex, ongoing, automated decision system.
Perfect. DDDM for the informed choice, DI for the intelligent, adaptive system, managing many choices.
Exactly.
So the final thought for you, our listener, drawing from the AI Coach perspective, is really a question to reflect on. How does your organization make decisions now? Is it mostly DDDM focused on specific data-informed choices? Or are you starting to think about DI building more integrated, automated, intelligent decision systems?
And what steps could you take to perhaps evolve towards that more integrated DI approach? Where could you start building that capability?
Food for thought. Some really valuable insights today. Thanks for breaking down DDDM and DI based on that AI Coach by Anil Nathu framework.
My pleasure. It's a really important distinction to grasp as AI becomes more embedded in business.
Thank you for joining us today. Visit the AI Coach website for more AI insights by Anil Nathu.